What is up here, YouTube? Jigsaw0097 here today, bringing you a movie review. I didn't think I would actually get the opportunity to see this movie this soon, but I just got out of it. And that movie is, of course, Solo, a Star Wars story. I wasn't the biggest fan of The Last Jedi. In fact, I pretty much hated almost everything about it, especially upon a second viewing. I was okay with Force Awakens. I thought it was all right. It wasn't amazing. Sorry, I'm driving here. It wasn't amazing, but, you know, it was like the first new movie that we had of Star Wars for quite some time, so I was willing to let a lot of stuff go. But Return of the Jedi really just brought all the problems with Force Awakens back and basically didn't improve on any of them. I really can't think of anything I really liked about Last Jedi. They pretty much ruined almost everything about Star Wars. Now, keep in mind, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan either. I've never been a huge Star Wars fan. When it comes to sci-fi and fantasy, I've always been like more Lord of the Rings for fantasy and more like Aliens, RoboCop, Terminator, stuff like that for sci-fi. But I still like Star Wars. I still have seen the movies as a kid, and I kind of grew up with it. So I was intrigued, I guess I would say, when they announced that they would be making a Han Solo solo movie, like just a character movie. I didn't like the casting of Han Solo at first. Alden Ehrenreich, I think I'm saying his name correctly. At first, when I saw the promotions, I thought he was a complete miscast, especially since there's that one actor, I always forget his name, but if you guys saw the movie Age of Adeline, he plays a younger Harrison Ford in that movie, and he is fantastic. He had everything down to be Harrison Ford. I always thought that guy could be like the new Indiana Jones, Han Solo, even like Blade Runner, if you want to go down that road. Which I actually thought would be cool, you know, if they made like a Blade Runner movie with like a younger Deckard, if he is indeed a replicant. But that's beyond the point. I'll just kind of get into this movie, I guess. I really actually enjoyed it, guys. I know that the hate train for this movie is all over the internet right now, but I'm gonna be one of the people that kind of defends it a little bit. Keep in mind, it's not a perfect movie. There's problems in it, especially one character that I will go over, a droid that actually every scene this droid was in was cringeworthy. It was horrible, and that was easily the biggest drag of the entire film. If they had removed this character, not only would the pacing have been better when they do the Kessel Run. Keep in mind, guys, this is a spoiler video too. I'll leave it in the title as well, just so you guys know. Because I'm going to be spoiling the crap out of it. But during the Kessel Run, this character is introduced after they meet up with Lando. And the droid is L3 something. I didn't even know, because she gets killed pretty much like the second she shows up. There wasn't a whole lot of character development with her. But yeah, it's like a she robot. She's all about like liberating the droids. Very pretentious stuff. There's even a point where Qi'Ra, I think that's how you say her name, Qi'Ra, which is basically just Daenerys from Game of Thrones. Almost the same character. That's the thing. I love Emilia Clarke, guys, but I've noticed this was a problem in Terminator Genesis as well, when she was trying to do her best Linda Hamilton impersonation, is what I call it. The thing about Emilia Clarke is the role of Daenerys in Game of Thrones fits her perfectly, because that's how Daenerys is. But I've noticed that she doesn't have a lot of range. Obviously, she's freaking gorgeous. I mean, Emilia Clarke is mwah. But her acting range, I would like to see more out of her. And unfortunately, in this movie, guys, if you know what to expect from her from like Game of Thrones or Terminator, you're gonna get more of that. Her character was interesting. It was nice to see that Han Solo had another woman in his life before Princess Leia, but you know, it was kind of when he meets up with her again, because the movie starts out and they're like in love. They're both like slaves or something. I'm not sure what they are. They're just like hobos pretty much. They're nobodies in the beginning of this film. And they escape this planet, but right before they're about to escape, Han and Qi'Ra get separated, and basically Han Solo's goals for the next like 3 years, because like it says like 3 years later, his entire goal is to find her again and to reunite with her because he's in love with her. But he meets up with like Woody Harrelson's character, Beckett I think is what his character's name is, and he's got his own crew after he has joined the Imperial Legion. He joins the Imperial Legion kind of to get off the planet as a pilot, and that's when he meets up with Beckett, and he goes on like a heist mission with them that goes horribly wrong. It's a train heist mission. You've probably seen it in the trailers. There's that part where Chewie's like poking his head out the ice rock, and then Han Solo saves him. Like they do it in the trailer like Chewie's gonna die. You know Chewie's not gonna die. But they go through that, and basically he meets up with Qi'Ra again when they go back to tell their employer that they failed. So if you guys have seen the movie, I don't really need to go like this much into detail. I'm trying my best to explain it just because I just got out of it. But basically, once he meets Qi'Ra, she's done some things in the past that we don't really know about, but you can tell she's different. And so it was a little predictable when they ran into her that she was going to ultimately betray Han, and she does by the end in a different way than you'd expect. They didn't do the whole like Casino Royale, like girlfriend betrays him, like tries to kill him kind of thing, but basically she kind of just like goes off on her own and lies to Han. And I gotta say, guys, one of the best things about this movie, a little off topic here, but I mean, Chewbacca, you can't ruin him, and he is actually probably like the best character in this movie. I did really like Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but I think given the circumstances and how much people were against this, it's kind of like a Gal Gadot with Wonder Woman casting. Everyone thought Gal Gadot was going to suck when they cast her as Wonder Woman, and then she was surprisingly good. I wouldn't say Alden Ehrenreich is as good as Gal Gadot is as Wonder Woman, but he basically was, because I don't think there's going to be any other movies, guys. I think this Solo is a one-off, so this is like all we're going to see of this guy. And I think he did a pretty good job. If this is just going to be like a solo film, you know, like a standalone film, I think he did a pretty stand-up job. I mean, he still didn't really remind me of Harrison Ford, but I think he played the character of Han Solo pretty well. I don't think he I don't think it wasn't believable. A lot of reviews that I've watched, like I watched some last night, people that went to the midnight screenings, they were saying that they couldn't see it, but I could kind of see it. And then also Donald Glover plays Lando Calrissian, and I thought he did a fantastic job. He even had Billy D. Davis's like voice down, you know, that like southern voice. And I thought he did a pretty good job. I could totally see him growing up into the Lando in the trilogy that we know. But yeah, let's see what else. Yeah, Chewbacca was done very well. I was actually very impressed, especially the way they met. I thought that was kind of funny. When they're on the planet at the beginning, when he's working for the rebellion, he gets like thrown in a pit, and they're like saying that the monster's gonna eat him. It's kind of like the Sarlacc pit from I think it's the Sarlacc pit. The pit in Jabba the Hutt's palace that they throw Luke in Return of the Jedi, it was kind of played off like that, but the monster turned out to Rancor. That's what it is, Rancor pit. It turns out that the monster in this pit is actually just Chewie, and so that's how they meet. There was one little cheesy thing though where he was speaking Wookiee to him, and then he does it like once, and then he never does it. Like he just talks to him like he normally does in the other movies after that. And it was a little weird because it was like, how does he know how to just like, he's pretty much just going, and like Chewie understands him. So that was a little weird. But like once that's over, like it gets right into it. I mean, you can kind of see why Chewie follows him, and vice versa. Like you can kind of see how that friendship develops. And the movie goes over a lot, guys. It shows how the Millennium Falcon is obtained, shows how he met Lando, like I said. You know, it gives hints of like Jabba the Hutt. One of the biggest Easter eggs in the movie that I was actually impressed with, big time spoiler alert here, when Qi'Ra is revealed to be what is the word? She's not really with Han. She's got her own agenda. When her agenda is revealed, which I still don't fully know what her agenda is, but it's revealed that she may or may not be working for Darth Maul. I'm not sure if it was her or Paul Bettany's character. Paul Bettany plays this like crime lord, and at the end it's the guy that when they screw up the train job they have to answer to, and so they get like another chance. That's why they go on the Kessel Run. But when he comes back, they end up killing him, and Qi'Ra takes his ring. He's got this little ring that he can like insert into the ship, and this ship is like, there's like this really long like it's like his mansion, but it's a ship, and when they kill him she takes it over. But when she puts the ring in, that's when the hologram of Darth Maul comes up, and you can see he's got robot legs, guys. So this is like Darth Maul past episode 1, hinting that he didn't die. I mean, basically showing that he didn't die, which I think is great, because Darth Maul to me is one of the most wasted characters in the entire Star Wars franchise. A lot of people say it's Boba Fett, but I did see that they're making a solo Boba Fett movie after this one, so we'll see what they do with that. But I've always thought Darth Maul, man, he had so much potential in episode 1, and they just absolutely wasted it by killing him off that quickly. And then of course we got like Count Dooku, who was just lame. So yeah, seeing Darth Maul back, that's pretty cool, guys. And if they're gonna do like a Darth Maul solo film or something, I'd be all for that. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of the rundown, you know. Like, I don't really want to like talk about the whole movie, just because, you know, you guys will go see it, and this is a very early video. But I did go over quite a bit of spoilers, just things that I thought were cool. And coming from not a Star Wars fan, I can understand my opinion might not be as valid as others, but I don't know. Other than the L3 character, the L3 had this like virtue signaling, you know, like Qi'Ra asked the droid what it needed. It's like, what did it say? Equal rights, something stupid like that. And so the Disney agenda is still in here, guys, to some extent. Not near as bad as Last Jedi, thank goodness. Last Jedi had that whole like feminist thing going for it. It's just so much garbage in that movie. This movie manages to keep it more down to the ground. Like they said that Lando was going to be pansexual, which kind of pissed me off when I read that. But you won't actually be able to tell in this movie, really at all. Like, you can tell that the droid likes him or whatever, but there's never any hint that Lando likes droids or anything like that. They don't really hint at his sexuality at all, honestly. He calls everyone baby, so it's like, that's just his thing. But yeah, I mean, I give this movie like a solid 8 out of 10, guys. Like I said, it's not perfect, but like it was better than I expected, and I'd say it's on the same level as like Rogue One, because it's just kind of like a side story. There's not really any Jedi or anything like that. It's just cool to see like a side story in the Star Wars universe. I honestly wish they would do stuff like this with like Alien, you know, like I've always wanted them to make more movies based on characters other than like Ripley or the Derelict. So yeah, as a Star Wars fan, I mean, it's kind of cool that you get this, even if it's not exactly the way you want it to be. But yeah, guys, that's what I'm going to give the movie. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I would probably watch it again. I don't think I'd watch it in the theater, but when it comes out on Blu-ray, I think I would give it another viewing. But yeah, guys, that's the video. If you've seen Solo, comment down below what you guys thought about it. Also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I do movie reviews on here periodically. Gonna probably do a lot more coming up here. But also, if you're a returning viewer, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, guys, this has been Jigsaw0097. Talk to you all later.